FM News Talk 97.1.
On-demand audio.
Glad you're back with us. We are fortunate enough right now to have Catherine Herridge joining us from the Fox News Channel. Catherine, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
What stood out to you from this Benghazi report?
There's so much new detail in this report about the night of the attack in particular and this senior-level meeting at the White House, which we had never learned of before, at about 7:30 Eastern, so 3 hours into the attack, another 5 hours left to run before the Navy SEALs were killed. And this was called a deputies meeting. That means the deputies to the cabinet secretaries, but there was one cabinet secretary there, and that was Mrs. Rescue. There were issues about sensitivities to the Libyans, whether a military rescue might be offensive to them, but then also this singular focus on the YouTube video, which was publicly blamed for the attack. But as we've shown in our reporting and now in this review by Congress, that there was no basis for that. The intelligence never spoke to a protest or a video in Benghazi.
So while this attack was still going on, I mean, with hours left in this attack,
Correct.
We find out later, they were debating how to play this to the media effectively?
I want to leave the interpretation to you, but I can
Sure.
tell you that the attack is ongoing. Sean Smith, the Foreign Service officer, is dead, but Ambassador Chris Stevens remains missing, and the two former Navy SEALs, Ty Woods and Glenn Doherty, who would later die that night defending the CIA operation, they were still alive. And during this White House meeting, it was a secure video teleconference. Mrs. Clinton was not at the White House, but was participating. 5 of the action items afterwards, so that's sort of like the directive after the meeting, related to the video, and this Pastor Terry Jones, who, in the past has burned Qurans and the like. But the point is that they're focusing on something which has nothing to do with the immediate rescue of the Americans, and none of the intelligence ever supported that there was a protest or a video connected to Benghazi. And I want to emphasize one point to your listeners. We often talk about the 4 Americans who were killed, but in fact 35 Americans were in Benghazi when you take also in total those who were operating at the CIA annex. So it was 35 lives that were at risk that night, not just the 4.
Yeah, it's a point well made, and I appreciate that. Catherine, I know we don't have you for very long because you have to go back on television. Do you have any information at all on this attack in Istanbul?
The CIA Director John Brennan said in an interview this morning with Yahoo News, and he's going to be speaking at a conference here in Washington this afternoon, that the attack in Istanbul has the signature of ISIS, and that he actually expects a similar style attack in the United States. What has the attention of my contacts is the fact that when the bombers went in, they went in guns blazing, and that suggests to them that this may have been an attempt to take hostages first and then to use the suicide vest as sort of a plan, the second part of the plan in the negotiations with police. If you're just going to detonate a suicide device and you want maximum casualties, you just walk in sort of silently and quietly to the busiest passenger line and you detonate. But this is not what happened here. So it does look like it may have been a potential hostage situation. And the power of the explosion and the number of dead and injured also suggests that it was a military-grade explosive. So this, again, goes into that sort of experienced, I wouldn't say overly sophisticated, but an experienced group of bomb makers.
Wow, and here we are heading into the July 4th weekend when
it's going to be a tough period for people. This is a really high-risk period right now, and airports really have emerged as this new soft target, and this, what I'll call sort of the soft underbelly of the security, that gap. Now we've seen it happen twice in just a period of a couple of months.
That's a good point. Catherine Herridge with the Fox News Channel, thanks for your time today.